Okay, we're ready for the machine now. What I'm going to do is go to my opening, my 2 pins, and that's where I'm going to start. And the bottom is pretty close, so I don't have to have a real big seam. But I have to do it the same whenever I come back around the other side, so I have to remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the last notch here that's marked on the sewing machine. But if for some reason you have a problem staying straight or you need another line, you can always use a piece of electrical tape. Because whenever you first start sewing, it's hard to keep a straight line. So what you can do is even put this marker wherever you need. Make sure it's straight. You can even do that if you want to keep your line straight. You know, keep your material butted up against her so you can see the line. But I'm going to move it out of my way. I just wanted to show you. Alright, I got my machine ready. Well, 5 minutes later, trying to thread the needle, we're ready. Here's my 2 pins, and I'm ready. I'm going to start. I'm going to do a little reverse. That way it kind of ties its own knot. And I'm going to keep my material straight, holding it flat. And I'm good. Woohoo! Stop close to the corner because we're fixing to turn. This edge is pretty close too, so what I'm going to do to make my turn, just do a couple more up. I'm going to put my needle down in the material. Here's my pin I put in there cockeyed earlier, and it's going to hold that corner for me. I'm going to pick up the foot of the sewing machine, and I'm just going to twist material around. And here's my line right there, and I'm going to put the foot down. Turn my material, and away we go. Okay, you've got all your edges sewn, all your pins pulled, you got your opening. You turn it back and forth, but you're not done with the machine yet. We're going to cut corners. This way it makes the corner nice and neat. Here's my corner. I know it's hard to see in the camera, but here's my corner where I sewed the blanket. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little triangle piece off, because corners look ugly. Whenever you turn this right side out, it's going to stick out and stuff. So we're just going to make a little shortcut across it, back and forth. So the thread, that way the thread kind of ties its own knot when you do that. So you cut across that corner, made just a little triangle. Not very much, just, you know, about ½ an inch away. And then I'm going to trim this corner as I'm going. Because it gets bulky, this material is pretty bulky. Don't cut it too close to the thread, because when you wash this over time, that material is going to give. So you always want to leave plenty of slack between your sewn area and the edge of the material. So we're going to go do that to every corner. Here's my line. I'm going to start at one line, work my way over to the other, just making this little triangle right here on the end. 4 corners, and then we're going to trim our excess. You don't want to trim it too close to your stitching. I'd say stay a little ways from it, you know, maybe an inch. And if you don't want, you just need to get some of that bulkiness out from when you turn it right side out. So you can even trim this and leave your material if there's not too much of it. And that's where we're going to be until we turn this sucker inside out. Okay, it's time to trim the salvage. If you lay your blanket out like this, you can look. You have all your lines where you sewed, and you can make sure that your edges are pretty straight before you ever start trimming. And you can look on the bottom, make sure you caught everything on the bottom before you cut anything. All my lines look pretty good. Here's my opening. We're going to blind stitch when we're done trimming. Yep, all looks pretty good. I'm ready to trim. So I'm going to stay just a little bit away, and I'm going to trim because this is a lot of material extra that's going to crunch up in the edge of that blanket when you turn it right side out. So I'm going to keep an inch or so and trim the rest. Okie dokie, you're ready to turn your blanket inside out. What you're going to do is you're going to separate your top and your bottom layer. The batting stays with your bottom layer. You're going to reach in the hole and you're going to grab the furthest corners and pull. Here's that corner, push it in. Here we go. Be gentle now. Take time. You don't want to tear any of your stitching out. Once it's engulfed in here, man, it's good to go. These blankets, I've had some for 10 years already, and everybody still just loves to grab my blankets. Here's my other corner to help it. Push it in. Pull it out. Woohoo! This is a bright blanket. But that's the purpose. Deer can't see this. Only humans can see it. And look, our corners look pretty good whenever you cut those corners off like that. They're not real pointed. They're nice and sharply, nice and triangularly shaped. And we're going to just get it all right side out. Lay it back down. Let's take a look at what we got here. What we're going to do is the material has to be put together to where it won't shift and move like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and do the flattening out thing again and get everything nice and flat and neat. And we're going to pin it again. Not have to pin the edges this time. But just pin the inside from the center out again to where it holds before we get it all sewn. Make sure your corners are fixed, because once we line stitch this, it's closed. And here's our edge that's open that we didn't sew. See, it kind of folded over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread a needle. I'm going to pin that to where it holds, and I'm just going to sew this, put the knot on the inside, come up, and we're just going to barely sew each piece to each other. There's not going to be any stress on this area once the blanket's done, so it's not that big of a deal. The deal is not to see your stitching, so that's why it's called a blind stitch. You're going to kind of do it where it's hidden. And let me get my blanket caught up, and we'll get back to this. We flatten it out, and pin it out, and we're going to be rocking. I got my area for the blind stitching right here. I threaded a needle. Ha! Sucks whenever you get old to try to see a needle. I threaded the needle, and I've got a double string here. Got the string to the ends together, and I'm just going to tie a quick knot in it. There we go. And I like it because it's going to stick out a little bit. That way I know where that end is. See how it just tied a knot. So now I'm ready to start. See, here's the opening. I'm going to go inside there, just there at the edge, and I'm going to grab just a little piece of that material. And I'm going to make another knot. Because that knot, what happens if it slips a little bit? And I'm just going to thread this through there. And I made a knot at the beginning. Now I can take this, the back knot, and stick it down in that hole, and nobody will ever know. Okay, I'm at the beginning. So I'm just going to weave my needle through the bottom and just a little bit, catch the top, and back through the bottom, catch the top, come on out. Don't pull too hard, because it'll be obvious there. And then now I'm going to start at the bottom, catch that bottom, catch the top, and just keep doing that. Catch the bottom, catch the top. The stitches don't have to be real close together. Like I said, there's not going to be any stress on that material in that spot when we're done. And just do it till you get to the end twice. And pull snug. Okay, got my knot. So how do I hide that end string? I'm going to stick this needle right in the crotch between both. I'm going to go down just a little ways. Just push the needle through. When the thread comes out, I'm just going to cut it like that. There it is. Done.